So I've recently made a video about Turkey and the Turkish lira after the exchange rate between the lira and the US dollar crossed the 16 lira per dollar mark. Since then, it went off to 18.5 lira to the dollar. And just in the last few hours, after a press conference by Erdogan, the lira rallied to, I think, about 13 lira to the dollar. And people say that the crypto market is volatile. Anyway, I figured this is a great opportunity to make another video to maybe extend a bit about what I've spoken about and perhaps what just happened and where we're going from here. Now, before I even go into details, it is pretty obvious to anyone that you don't make something out of nothing. And it is ridiculous to think that we have been waiting all these years for Erdogan to make this press conference to solve all Turkey's problem for once and for all. Clearly, that is not the case. And I would make, in the end, the argument that this rally is going to be very short-lived. Essentially, this rally is a coordinated attack by Erdogan against the short sellers of the Turkish lira, what he would consider Turkey's enemies. And obviously it is coordinated in the sense that prior to his press conference, he has spoken with his allies and made sure that his conference is done while markets are open. And the rally is coordinated such that the people who are short the lira would have to also close their trades. In other words, a short squeeze. So that's his revenge, and I think it's going to be very short-lived. So in my latest video, I've mentioned the obvious. There are far too many pieces of paper. There is too much currency relative to what Turkey produces. Now, let's consider what options are available to Erdogan. You have too many pieces of paper. The best thing you can do is to produce more, such that you grow and give value to these pieces of paper. Imagine we read in the newspaper tomorrow that a Turkish man is gifted with the power where he touches with his finger on your forehead and you're cured from any disease you might have. Anyone who would have this power would be welcome anywhere. However, this guy loves Erdogan and he loves Turkey. And he says that anyone who wishes to cure himself of any disease must come to Istanbul and pay him in the Turkish lira. What would it do to the lira's value? Notice that I've said nothing about the debt to GDP ratio or the inflation rate or the interest rates. We have a guy that can cure any disease with his fingers. Anyone and everyone wants to come to Turkey. The only thing that is important is who lives in Turkey and how much they produce. That's the only thing that is important. And clearly, all autocrats can't allow the free market to produce things efficiently. And therefore, everything they do is against free market and more controls. So this option is not available. And therefore, Erdogan must reduce the amount of pieces of paper that are printed every month. Now, consider how can you do that? Well, the first thing is taxes. You can simply tax people in many different ways. And I would say good luck to anyone raising taxes in the environment that is currently existing in Turkey. Well, second, you can fire all the government's or many governments' employees, and then you wouldn't have to pay them salaries, and therefore you wouldn't need to print all that piece of paper. But then again, good luck firing people in this environment. Politically, it is impossible even for Erdogan. And finally, the interest rate you're paying. You want to pay less interest. And clearly, that's the option Erdogan chose. However, this can only be negotiated, not forced, as he is currently trying to do. So, what was Erdogan's announcement a few hours ago? And why do I think it's going to make the inflation or the devaluation of the lira much worse? Essentially, all businesses and people who are watching the collapse of the lira are fighting to exchange their worthless pieces of paper into something else. This obviously creates pressure on the lira, which Erdogan wishes to control. So he made the statement that all the people who are currently holding lira-denominated debt, who are currently losing value because of inflation, would be rewarded with additional Turkish liras that would supposedly compensate for whatever they've lost through the exchange rate. Clearly, he is simply promising to print more Turkish liras. This decision might temporarily prevent people from exchanging their liras until they figure the obvious, that your promise to print more liras in order to compensate for their loss simply means you're printing more liras, and as such it would continue to lose its value. This promise by Erdogan is simply a promise to create more debt in the future, to create more Turkish lira. And therefore, I would suspect that in the next few months, if not weeks, we would see the Turkish lira continue to lose its value, and more unrest, unfortunately, within the society, within the people who live under this broken monetary system that is enforced upon them. And they are reduced to fighting between them on limited resources. It is truly a calamity. So, till next time.